sagging, bouncing, or uneven floors, standing water or high humidity, nasty odors, or dangerous mold. Crawl space problems don't get better with time, but they do get better when you call APS.
This is the afternoon edition of the Daily Weather Briefing video. This is for Wednesday, the 7th of December. I'm James Spann. Doesn't feel like December. Temperatures will stay mild near record levels for the next few days. We'll start to see some changes next week as the pattern begins to flip. And the question is, could we have strong, maybe severe storms at midweek next week? A little iffy on that, but no doubt with the pattern change, we are looking at colder air over the latter half of December. Good news for cold weather fans and Christmas. But a lot to talk about today, a lot to unpack here. We'll start with the upper air look. This is the flow pattern about 18,000 feet off the ground. And again, where we are, that big upper high over the Gulf, that's expanding up in here, and that's the reason it's warm for this time of the year. The main polar jet as well to the north, and there's a trough back in the western states. And Alabama pretty much bisected today. The northern third of the state socked in with clouds and rain. The southern half of the state, sunny and very warm. This is the radar composite, doing this update about 2:30 this afternoon. You can see at that moment the bulk of the rain over the northeastern corner of the state. Another batch of showers around Memphis. So for North Alabama, north of Birmingham, some spots did not reach the 70s today. For example, Cullman, Haleyville, they're sitting at 66. Huntsville's at 69, but notice Birmingham at 73. Look at Tuscaloosa, 78. Demopolis, 82. Come on now, tank top and flip-flop weather here. 80 for Montgomery, 81 for Mobile and Dothan. Now, we'll take a look at all the record highs and see how many new records are established today. Don't think we're going to hit it for Birmingham. Birmingham needed to reach 80 today for a record. That's not going to happen. But some other spots could possibly establish a new record for the 7th of December. There's the watch warning map across the country. Got some scattered winter weather issues out west. And the good news, despite this warmth, we see no chance of any severe weather through the weekend. This is the outlook through tonight. This is tomorrow. And this is Friday. However, as we get into next week, we have the chance of severe storms on day 6, which is Monday, from near Dallas-Fort Worth up to Tulsa and Fort Smith and Fayetteville. Now, the areas there in yellow. And then on day 7, which is Tuesday of next week, we have a risk of severe storms over much of Arkansas, Louisiana, western Mississippi, and eastern Texas. And again, at the moment, SPC has not outlooked Alabama in their Day 8 outlook, and I think that's the right call. There's a lot of questions involving the dynamic support and the instability by the middle of next week as the system comes in here on Wednesday. We'll take a look at new modeling on that in just a second. Heaviest rain for the next 7 days, north and west of the state. In Alabama, the amounts vary from almost 3 inches around Florence down to under a quarter inch for the southeastern corner of the state around Dothan. And off in the tropics, still watching that big swirl in the Atlantic between the United States and Europe, far, far from land. National Hurricane Center giving this thing a 50% chance of becoming a named system. And again, it's just a question of semantics here, really. Is it a true warm core tropical system? Is it a subtropical system? Is it a cold core North Atlantic system? And ultimately, it's going to be a cold core system here in the next day or two, but Hurricane Center might consider giving this thing a name. But again, we stress this is going to be far from land and not affecting us at all. So let's go to modeling. A lot of stuff going on here. Mainly want to focus on next week. This is the GFS, the 12Z run valid tomorrow at 4. Again, the big upper high over the Gulf, trough coming out of the Rockies. And again, for tomorrow, it's just going to be warm, humid, muggy, sultry, doesn't feel like December, more like September. We're expecting a high in the mid to upper 70s. And like today, there could be a few spots touching 80. And again, there could be a few showers over the northern third of the state, mainly north of Interstate 20. So this is Friday. A weak surface front tries to push in here, but it just doesn't have a lot of push to it. So it could bring a few showers. There's not much support. So showers are possible Friday. And again, we'll be up in the 70s again. So talk about the weekend. This is Saturday. Now, South Alabama should be dry and warm. For the northern half of the state, that surface boundary stalls out. There could be a few showers, scattered showers about. But nothing especially widespread. But yes, it might rain a time or two. And we're going to stay pretty mild for the southern two-thirds of the state. Highs will stay in the 70s on Saturday. Initially, it looked like we could drop in the 60s, but I just don't think that's going to happen. And this is Sunday. The front just kind of waffles back and forth across the state. Sunday, cloudy, a chance of showers, highs around 70. And then Monday of next week looks fairly quiet. Of course, the low forms south of Denver. And Monday evening, Monday night, that could trigger some severe storms on the dry line around Interstate 35, Oklahoma and Texas in advance of that. But again, that looks pretty quiet for us. This is Tuesday. That storm really starts to wrap up. A sub-1,000 millibar low near Omaha. That could be a blizzard for parts of the Dakotas and Nebraska. And south and east of the surface low, a chance of severe storms. And that's the reason you got that severe weather outlook there for Tuesday of next week. And again, Tuesday looks fairly calm here. High probably mid to upper 60s and maybe a few spotty showers. So this is a week from today. Wednesday, the 14th of December, got a bowling ball feature coming up out across the high plain states. That surface low is kind of occluding up there near Nebraska, and again, snow continues. They could be buried in parts of the Dakotas and Minnesota with snow. And down here, thunderstorms are pushing in. Let's go to the European Wednesday, and it's awfully similar. Surface low in about the same place, band of storms coming in here. This is the instability Wednesday coming off the European. There's not much. That might be a pretty limiting factor. And again, the other thing is the main dynamic support is so far north, kind of an occluded, wrapped-up system up there. But still, there certainly could be some strong storms Wednesday of next week, but it's not really a classic severe weather setup at this point. But this is a week away, and we all know things could change. Just something to watch between now and then. Let's go out 10 days. This is Saturday, December 17th. Ooh, that's a cold look. Got a big old vortex setting up over the northern states and some really cold air covering much of the contiguous United States. So much for the blowtorch warmth. You can see it's really cold coming down through parts of Montana, Wyoming, the Dakotas, and Nebraska. And that cold air will ultimately flood much of the United States, and it just still looks cold. This is the outlook toward the end of December, the anomalies. And again, there's no skill in a specific forecast, but the pattern favors a colder look for us, with a ridge pumping up over Alaska, western Canada, and the United States being flooded with much colder air. Beyond that, we can't answer any questions. It's all we can do to figure out the weather 10 days in advance. We can't tell you that, but there is skill in pattern recognition, and that's a situation there. So this is rain for Birmingham off the European ensemble. The mean, about 3 inches between now and the 22nd of December. And you can see the 70s stay in place through Saturday, and highs dropping in the 60s Sunday through Wednesday, then in the 50s on Thursday, and upper 40s Friday of next week, with lows down around freezing as the cold air begins to arrive. And hot off the presses, we've got the brand new 8 to 14 day guidance in the house. This is for December 16th through the 21st. And all of a sudden, the reds are gone and the blues are taken over as the cold air floods much of the country. Temperatures for Alabama during that time frame will likely be below average. Hey, let's roll that Pepsi Kid Cam. My buddies at Southside Elementary School up in Etowah County near Gadsden. It's kind of a tradition. I've been seeing the 5th graders there at Southside every year in December, right before Christmas for many, many years, and they are looking good. Good to see the faculty as always, the students. We had a great time today talking about the marvelous science of meteorology, some future scientists in the room there. So again, thanks to everybody at Southside, home of the Panthers. We had a great time earlier today. So that's it for the afternoon edition of the Daily Weather Briefing video. If you're new here, we do these twice a day, once in the morning about 5:15, once in the afternoon about 2:30 to 3. We simulcast on YouTube and Facebook. We've been doing these for a long time. Goodness, but it's doing things we can't do on television. On TV, they give you a couple of minutes. It's a quick story there, but this kind of lets us dig deep. We have notes over on the blog. That's AlabamaWX.com. That's the hub of what we do. Speaking schedule, tomorrow I'm going to be in Pell City at Coosa Valley Elementary School, and then Friday, Lipscomb Elementary School in Jefferson County. No book signing this Saturday. The last one of the year is the next Saturday up in eastern Walker County. We'll have details on that early next week. So if you can, join us this evening over across the hall in Studio A on ABC 3340 News at 4, 5, 6, and 10 o'clock. Thanks for watching. Have a great evening, and God bless.
Sagging, bouncing, or uneven floors? Call Alabama Professional Services. Standing water or high humidity? Call APS. Nasty odors or dangerous mold? Call APS. Critters, bugs, or other pests? That's right, call APS. It's a fact. Crawl space problems don't get better with time, but they do get better when you call APS. Call Alabama Professional Services today.